Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to The Right Stand this Tuesday evening, a day of political turmoil in Bihar, but we are going to keep the spotlight turned on national security, more importantly, internal security. We've been pushing for a huge crackdown on radicals, Trojans within, and in that, here comes the big challenge at this point, ladies and gentlemen. The challenge is that there are lone wolves who are inspired by the Daesh, that's the Islamic State, who are operating across the length and breadth of the country. There's been a major crackdown on radicals, but there is more. Here tonight, on The Right Stand, we break this big news that in Uttar Pradesh's Azamgarh, there has been a crackdown and a lone wolf inspired by the ISIS has been nabbed by the authorities. This is big news coming through at this point. A man by the name of Sabauddin Azmi has been arrested by the ISIS, by the UP task force. He's inspired by the ISIS and he was planning a lone wolf attack around the Independence Day. Key RSS leaders and I think some very big names in Uttar Pradesh were in his radar. CNN News 18 has accessed the key forensic details. He was a member and directly in touch with ISIS recruiters. He was also following the ISIS social media channel on Telegram called Al-Sakar. He was also trying to understand various methods of making explosive devices. He was openly in touch with the ISIS controllers, and as per the interrogation details, he was planning something major on Independence Day. He was using social media and Telegram app chats, and they show that he had links with ISIS controllers, in touch with operatives in Pakistan, in Syria, in Iraq. He sought help in bomb making, and he was tasked with killing big RSS leaders. Also, incriminating material has been recovered from his village, Mubarakpur, somewhere in Azamgarh, recovered from his village in near a burial ground. That's where it has been now recovered. Big crackdown. This has happened by the Uttar Pradesh police and the task force which has been cracking down. But it's a string of cracks which have happened, ladies and gentlemen. There is a huge number of such people who are spread across the country who are inspired by radical pan-Islamist terrorist outfits like the Daesh or the Islamic State, and also inspired by other outfits, terror outfits like the Al-Qaeda. Now, this person, he was an electrician. He was an electrician by profession and was working in Mumbai earlier. He was running a fake ID on Telegram by the name of Bairam Khan. And on this, he was trying to get more information about bomb making. He was also trying to establish the Islamic State in India through social media. And during the course of investigation, it was found that not only was he highly radicalized, but got too far gone, that in his Telegram app, he was also in touch with Abu Bakr al-Somani and this entire group called Jihad Apne Tarike Se, operated by Abu Bakr from Murtania. Now, with these two IDs, he was talking from his fake ID of Bairam Khan. He was speaking with them. The chats disclosed he was talking about a method of making an electronic bomb, which is like a hand grenade. Abu Bakr al-Somali has also sent him pictures of various equipments that he is needed, that he will have to collect, like wires, nuts and bolts, machines, etc., and wanted him to arrange all that. This man, Sabauddin, was also in the process of arranging sulfur, gunpowder and other chemicals. He's also asked for the video of training so that he can establish Islamic State in India. Sabauddin was in touch with operatives from Pakistan. This is his picture. Accessed specifically by CNN News 18, our investigations editor Manoj Gupta getting us these details, but this is his picture. This is Sabauddin Azmi, who's been arrested in Uttar Pradesh. He was in touch with operatives from Pakistan and Syria. The individuals who he was in touch with from Pakistan, Syria and Iraq have been identified as Bilal, Musa alias Khatab Kashmiri, Abu Sami Mujahideen, Abu Bakr al-Somali and Abu Omar. All these individuals are members and working actively for the Daesh or the Islamic State of ISIS of Iraq and Syria. These individuals wanted him to come for training and do jihad in Palestine, Kashmir and Syria. These people have shared all their notes on Al Sakar media channel, and Sabauddin was also part of this. On his identification, agencies have recovered all this material from his native village, from a burial ground. The agencies are saying there will be more follow-up action that could happen soon. So far, we are given to understand he's a lone wolf, but how many such lone wolves are operating around us in our country at this point, and how deep does this rot run? It's an alarm bell ringing. There is a crackdown in the last 2 or 3 weeks on radicals within. Pathikrit Pain, geopolitical analyst and security analyst with us. Pathikrit, there is so much information that we have put out here, but this is alarming. It's not an organized terror module. This is an organization of lone wolves, all inspired by the ISIS. And if we have such elements present across our country, they can unleash a lot of trouble.
Oh, absolutely, Anand. In fact, in one of your last programs, we had mentioned about the 4 or 5 crore illegal immigrants in this country.
Yes.
Even if 1% of them are radicalized, that's a huge threat for the country. So, if you look at it, it's perfectly in sync with the Pakistani module or template of bleeding India through 1,000 cuts, and the ISIS template of actually going back to your own country and doing jihad over there. So, I think there is a combination of ISIS and ISI, working in tandem into it. Let me tell you, Anand, one thing. Radicalization, whether it is online and offline, it's often preceded, in most cases, if not all cases, often preceded by fundamentalist education, in many cases the madrasas, and that is where the fundamentalist mindset is created. From those people with fundamentalist mindset, when they search for specific groups where they can actually find more information, that is where the radicalization both online and offline starts. And this is what is very critical to understand, that organized terror attacks, the way they did it in case of Kashmir, the Fidai attacks, have become counterproductive for Pakistan, because they know every Pulwama will be reciprocated by a Balakot kind of an airstrike. So a template of lone wolf strikes, radicalized people getting into dissent, creating internal mayhem, an internal uprising, colored revolution, everything is being tried upon, Anand, to destabilize this country. And let me tell you one thing, Anand, a lot of people may not agree to this. There is definitely a hand of our neighbor. There's no denial of that. But let's also not discount the possibility of some elements in the West also being involved and using this controlled assets to actually destabilize India. Because while India is a great market for them and somebody who can counter the Chinese, they don't want to India come out as an assertive, resilient country with its own independent foreign policy and becoming strong. So while we are very, very secure reasonably in terms of being from external attacks, it is the internal security aspect where a lot of effort has to be given and is being given by the central government, no doubt. I want to mention one thing. In UK, there is a very successful Project Griffin. Project Griffin is where the law enforcement agencies take in tandem with all the private security agencies of the country, others as informers. In India, you have 90 lakh people working as private security guards. They actually can become your eyes and ears to get those information. Ultimately, all these operations that are being done by the law enforcement agencies are based on intelligence inputs, and that is where it is so very good to see that in the last 2 years, through whether it is CCTNS or NatGrid or other efforts that has been made in terms of tracking or surveilling what is happening in the online has become so very important. But let's also not discount the offline aspect. I want to mention one last point, Anand. It might sound strange, but the right to education is one of the biggest culprits over here. Due to a Right to Education Act, all the minority institutions are out of bound of any kind of regulation. So you simply do not know what is being taught in a madrasa. There is no regulation of who is coming and teaching, what it is educational background, what is
I'll tell you what
is the syllabus.
One of the things, Pathikrit, is when we'll talk about these terror madrasas specific to Assam and this Morigaon Madrasa exclusive that's also coming up in just about 2 minutes. I just want to spend a little more time on this development in Uttar Pradesh. Look at where he's been nabbed from. He's been nabbed from Azamgarh. He's a resident of that particular area, which has been nefarious for gangs, for arms, for terror outfits, and past terror attacks have also stemmed from this particular region. The other aspect is that a lot of these people are not uneducated. They are all educated with modern education also. A lot of things, sometimes what we have seen is they are all engineering students. They all have a high level of awareness and education. Some of them are doctors, some of them. So it's not that they have just been, Madrasa educated.
Agree.
That means taught only one particular book. They also have received modern education. But more importantly, how is it that right under the noses of the authorities, social media platforms have been used to radicalize? Look at the bust that happened just a week before last, the weekend, where in 48 hours, nearly 48 people were rounded up across 6 to 7 states in our country. All of them contributing to jihadi material that is being pushed out on ISIS mouthpiece like Voice of Hind and other mouthpieces. They're also contributing on encrypted channels, platforms, Telegram encrypted platform, Signal encrypted platform, where these people have groups. The UP ATS, what did they say? Beg your pardon, Rajasthan ATS. They said nearly 300 people are part of that entire Sartan Se Juda group, of which 250 are sitting in Uttar Pradesh. That's what their information is. Uttar Pradesh has come out and said that a lot of, and the central intelligence agencies have said that maybe across the country we are busting their phones. In their groups, there are common identities. There are common people who are either admin or members of these groups. They may be existing somewhere in India or somewhere outside the country. Look at the Bangladesh connection that is coming through, the Pakistan connection, the Qatar connection, the Syria connection. It's all there, all around us.
Yes, Anand, you are absolutely right. And there is a major challenge. Why actually Uttar Pradesh becomes a point of convergence? There are two reasons. Because of cross-border narcotics and arms trade, that becomes a conduit for radicalizing and actually using the same route or people for terror activities as at the same time. Secondly, Deoband is a place where a large number of, people from other parts of the country and even from Bangladesh come and actually get for Islamic education. That is another area. Third, the capacity building of the law enforcement agencies in this country as far as the states are concerned is very limited. So cyber security capacity building has not happened at the states to the level where ideally it should have been happening. In case of center, it is different. The center has definitely done a lot. But the most fundamental issue, Anand, is do we actually consider radicalization as an act of terror? Unfortunately not. Till the time you actually do an act of terror, you are not considered a terrorist. That is the level of benefit of doubt, in fact, our legal system gives. So if somebody is teaching something fundamentalist, discussing something fundamentalist in the entire WhatsApp group, it will not be even considered an act of an anti-national activity. It will only be defined as a religious activity till the time somebody says, okay, let's bomb a place. Now, let's bomb a place is preceded by a lot of other, radical brainwashing. That is where it has to be addressed. And that is where, unfortunately, it's not being addressed. The most important thing, yes, you have a virtual Hydra-headed, a threat today, which precedes all the boundaries, physical boundaries. And you have an enormous challenge. And that's why if you look at China, in the last 1 decade, what China has done, they have spent more money on internal security than they have put on defense from external threats. That is how China, we can have differences on China of many things, but when it comes to India, our defense budgets, our internal security budget has to be at par with the defense budget. You have to have enormous capacity building in the IT sector.
No, and not just that.
Yes,
there has to be one aspect, like you said, that they have to be radicalized to a particular level to be able to decide that it's okay to butcher a person, it is okay to bomb a place, it is okay to murder somebody because you have a religious difference with that particular person, or you have been so groomed to push for a pan-Islamist agenda and you believe that pan-Islamist agenda is fair and right, even in India. So that is the point. How does it build up to that level, and how do you counter radicalize? How do you crack down on radicals and those outfits which are radicalizing? So that's the bigger challenge, and this bigger challenge comes also with this layered with this issue of illegals, which you mentioned. 4 crore illegals in our country, and they are all coming through the porous borders. One only knows what their agenda is. We're not saying all 4 crore illegals are radicals. But amidst these 4 crore, even if there are 400 of them, imagine the damage that they can cause and what they can push and perpetrate. That's the challenge, and we're going to move on to that. This is the big CNN News 18 exclusive news break from Uttar Pradesh, where an ISIS lone wolf has been nabbed. His intentions, the interrogation details, interrogation is still going on. We've shared some details. We should have more information about what his modus operandi was. An electrician from Azamgarh whose work plied his wares in Mumbai and in touch with serious recruiters in the Islamic State in Syria. Now to the other big one. Pathikrit Payan was talking about, which are the hotbeds, these madrasas of terror. Not all of them, some of them. It all comes down to what is happening in Assam. Now, we put out some details of Ansarullah Bangla female operative Zohra Khatun, a 20-year-old who was nabbed. Now, she's the wife of this man on your screen. This is again a CNN News 18 exclusive. You have not seen this picture before. This is the picture of Hujur or Abu Talha. Abu Talha alias Hujur, who's been running and who's been absconding for the last 5 months, ladies and gentlemen. He is the heart of this entire jihadi network which is operating in Assam, and he himself is a Bangladeshi. He's an Ansarullah Bangla operative who was running a radical outfit, Radical Madrasa. He has taught his 8th pass wife how to operate the dark web. Now, this is a hunt which has been going on for a while of this man whose sketch has now come out. This Ansarullah Bangladesh operative has been active in several parts of Assam. He actually disguised himself as an imam. So he was not only teaching it that now bulldozed madrasa, that is the Jamiul Huda madrasa, but more importantly, he was working and very close to the secretary of the Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque. So a person who is a secretary of the Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque, Noor Alam, has now also been arrested. And it's all because they were all working with this person. Imagine the crackdown that's happening in Assam and the number of radicals and terrorists who have now made their way from Bangladesh into India. This man, we are given to understand, ladies and gentlemen, had a valid voter ID. It's a serious issue, ladies and gentlemen. Illegals having voting rights, having papers made here, and who are highly radicalized and in touch with terror outfits. Look at the challenge that we have as a country. Let's try and put out all the details for you in this CNN News 18, the Right Stand exclusive news break. Let's look at the details quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Assam, a border state and also being used as a terror base. This trail thickens. This is this entire porous border around with Bangladesh. And you have serious issues. This is Morigaon. From Dhubri and Bilasipara, which is in the border. Now, Zohra Khatun was arrested from Bilasipara. She was arrested from Bilasipara, but she was actually operating in Morigaon. So from here, they have found their way to Barpeta, again where modules were busted, to Goalpara and Guwahati. All these spots, there were terror modules of Ansarullah Bangladesh who are inspired by the Al-Qaeda, in touch with the Jamatul JMB Bangladesh, Jamatul Mujahideen Bangladesh, all of them. And then this is Morigaon. This is where it is. So from Bangladesh, they have made their inroads all the way deep into Assam and then wanting to move into the other sister states in this region. But they've come right into the heart of Assam, all the way from Dhubri, Bilasipara. Then when the crackdown happened in Morigaon, she's actually run back and she was arrested in Bilasipara, trying to go back, cross across into Bangladesh. This border area is a serious issue. Dhubri is one again, the hotbed. We'll go to our experts and try and make you understand all of this. Now, this is the terror madrasa that we're talking about. Let's try and understand as this trail thickens. See, what did he do? This is the mega investigation that we've put out here. He was used. This Morigaon terror madrasa, the Jamiul Huda madrasa, was being used as a terror haven. It was used as a safe house for the Ansarullah Bangla team operatives. It was a hub of fundraising for anti-India terror. It disseminated anti-India propaganda, and more importantly, they were sitting there and brainwashing young minds. Children of India, they were brainwashing them. These people guised as imams and mullahs and maulvis. Funds from Bangladesh were deposited into the madrasa's accounts. Those funds were used for a lot of nefarious activities and also to build and acquire space illegally and build a madrasa there. Bangladeshi nationals were visiting the madrasa since 2019. The other aspect, as part of this mega investigation, there were jihadis at 2 hubs who are now under the lens. Right at the center of this is Abu Bakr Siddiqui Mosque. Once again, it's in the Moirabari area. Abu Talha, he is on the run. So this Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque, and also the Jamiul Huda Mosque. This man, Abu Talha, worked as an imam and carried on jihadi activity at this Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque. He was also trying to teach at the Jamiul Huda Mosque. So that's the connection. He stayed at the home of Muzammil Haq, left about 6 months back. Zahura Khatun has been arrested, a prime suspect in this jihadi module who used high-tech phone apps for communication. He had trained an 8th pass girl, aged about 20, who's also a mother, in dark web. She had 3 phones on her person. She destroyed one of the phones. The other 2 have been retrieved. Noor Alam is a secretary at the mosque. He gave refuge to Talha and Khatun, who's now been arrested. Noor Alam is the secretary of this Abu Bakr Siddiq Mosque. Then, this rot runs deep. Zahura Khatun's father is an AIUDF Zilla Parishad president. Abu Talha's name is on the voter list in 24 Parganas in West Bengal. He is living in Morigaon in Assam. He hails from Bangladesh, but he is on the voter list of the 24 Parganas in West Bengal. Are you shocked? Are you looking at these details in disbelief? Do you want to look at the map and see what is happening around us, especially in this area? It's a CNN News 18 mega investigation, Morigaon's terror Madrasa, ladies and gentlemen. This crackdown on radicals is long overdue. Rupam Goswami, spokesperson of BJP Assam, with us. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Senior Fellow, Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies, with us this evening. We also have Tausif Ahmad Khan, advocate and political analyst, and Pathikrit Pain, geopolitical analyst and security analyst. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, how do we not know all of this?
Well, we're not meant to know all of it. You see, the thing here is, the way ISIS works is it's kind of a do-it-yourself model of self-radicalization. That is both the beauty of it from their point of view and the danger of it from our point of view. Essentially, what they do is, distance training for the self-radicalized. First, they radicalize you through chat rooms. We saw this initially with Al-Qaeda. When once upon a time there used to be the dark web where you had to actually go and find certain things. You had to have a certain computer literacy to go there, search certain things, and then they would call you and the training would be done on site. The thing about ISIS is they're kind of Al-Qaeda plus. They've perfected this sort of distance learning module of terrorism. Anything. It's literally like a pick your own course kind of thing, like these online courses that you have, where you can go and you can get into whatever you want. So you self-radicalize. I mean, obviously the stimulus to radicalize already exists in the society where you are, but you go in, and then depending on how well you do, they themselves reach out to you. And if you are so inclined, you can go learn bomb making, you can learn sourcing, you can learn all kinds of things. In this particular case, thankfully, it turns out from what I've been hearing, this gentleman was slightly, a bit lackadaisical in hiding his tracks, which is kind of why he got caught. So the one thing that ISIS is not able to radicalize, train properly, is that it does not know in every single country how the security agencies operate and therefore how to cover your own tracks. And of course, people do tend to there is a certain flaw with...
You are talking about Sabahuddin, the ISIS operative in Uttar Pradesh, but we are also putting out...
But I'm talking about the Assam guy.
Yeah, the Assam module. Morigaon, this guy, he is an operative of the Ansarullah Bangladesh. Ansarullah Bangladesh finds itself...
So what we've seen, do you remember the attack that happened in the Italian restaurant in Gulshan a few years back?
Yes.
See, all of them follow a very similar pattern. If you remember in that particular attack, the attackers were conserving bullets. They were very short on ammunition. They were conserving bullets and things like that. So what we understand is there is a certain the way you kind of buy modular kitchens based on your budget. There's some kind of a modular training program happening. So UP, Assam, all these organizations. I mean, where have we seen this before? This is exactly like Pakistan, where you've got 100 different schools running 100 different terror affiliates in them, and they just change the name and they come back. So a lot of this is very similar. It also has to do with the way, but remember, it is not just ISIS. We know for a fact that Pakistan has been investing in Bangladesh a lot, and they used a lot of the Rohingya refugee problem to sort of recapitalize their interests out there. One of the things they use it for, of course, is to spark radicalism even within Bangladesh and violent attacks within Bangladesh. If you remember, there was just after the Gulshan siege, just 6 to 8 months after that, there was a big siege of a building in the middle of a farm in quite a remote area. But it was extremely sophisticated, and they had put tripwire bombs and things like that. So imagine how within 6 to 8 months it goes from conserving bullets to having tripwire bombs and so on and so forth, and AR-15 rifles. So what you're seeing is a step-by-step modular approach based on whoever they can get. And just to connect this to what Pratikrit said, Pakistan has realized that they have to do it this way, because if they do it in the normal way through, infiltration or attacks in Kashmir or wherever, you're going to see things like Uri and Pathankot in response, which they do not want. Whereas if you do it in the east, you can hide it behind Rohingya refugees and so on and so forth. And you can generally hide it behind the fact that, oh, well, there is no land bridge. How are we meant to be, how are we distance projecting so far? Well, terrorism doesn't require much to project. It's quite easy to do with a few arms and known smuggling routes. But now, in fact, it's the cattle smuggling routes that are also the arms smuggling routes.
True, that's true. But what's happening is that the radicalization is happening via social media. They are now mastering the dark web. A 20-year-old 8th pass has been taught and trained into operating highly encrypted platforms on the dark web. That's Zohra Khatun. Now, she's the daughter of an AIUDF Panchayat member. So clearly they are marrying into Indian citizens, getting a certain level of political leverage. This man, this terrorist, he's an illegal, he's a Bangladeshi, and he's a terror operative, but he holds a voter ID of an India and voting rights in an Indian state.
So this is perfectly natural. So social media kind of acts as your audition. Right. So for your first audition in Bollywood, you go there, you dance, or you deliver a dialogue, and then you get selected. That's exactly what they use social media for. They're seeing who follows a certain kind of people, who follows or posts about a certain kind of narrative. Even they would not be completely suitable. They will reach out to them. They create these kind of support groups online in direct message groups and things like that. And ultimately, they will either they monitor those DMs to see who's talking about violent action against the state, who's talking about violent action against the RSS, who's talking about violent action against the BJP. And sadly, the national discourse in this, that the RSS are fascists, they're terrorists, they're a Muslim genocide, all of this, whether the people saying this like it or not, actually feeds in and adds to this kind of murderous radicalization. And then what happens is the second selection process happens, where you actually get access to the dark web. You get the modules on how to access the dark web, and from there on the training continues. So even though these are all separate episodes, they're all sort of, the heads of the same serpent in effect.
Right. Let me bring in Tausif, and then I'll bring in Rupam Goswami, and then go to Patrikrit Payan. Tausif Ahmed Khan. This man was living under the guise of an imam.
Well, good evening, Anand, and I hope you will give me uninterrupted time, at least 30% of what you have given to the panelists before me. Now, we need to debunk this narrative around Madrasa, the negative narrative that BJP has built. And secondly, as has been admitted, ISIS is present online, ISIS is present on social media, and there is a reason that ISIS is alive on social media, because it helps BJP seek vote. You see, in 2002, the Home Minister of Union of India, Shivraj Singh Patil, said that madrasas are seat of social service. where knowledge of humanism is imparted and human values are taught. In Madrasa Alia in Kolkata, the famous social reformer Raja Ram Mohan Roy studied. A very famous writer Prem Chand studied in Madrasa as well. So let us debunk this myth around the madrasa that madrasas produce terrorists or madrasa radicalizes people. There is any general statement to that effect is false and is a propaganda with an intention to seek vote for BJP. Because if there will be no ISIS pages on social media, BJP will lose their topic to seek vote on.
Okay.
Now let us come to the real issues.
Before
yes,
you
I agree there are real issues.
One
yes,
sec, Tausif. I just have a 20-second. Just a 20-second intervention. My point is, there are 2 points that you made. One is the aspect of social media, and there is no disagreement on that there is a lot of vitriol. Whether it benefits the BCP or not, that's the political statement you made that the BJP will answer. But second, the first part, which I'm trying to say, is that we are very, very clear. We are not saying that all madrasas are like this. In fact, me and Tapatikrit were just discussing the same thing, that a lot of these people are not just madrasa educated, they also have modern school education and they are highly radicalized. And not all, and there is at no point we are saying that all madrasas are the same. We are saying that in this Morigaon madrasa, one, that the structure was illegal. Two, more importantly, they are not even Indian citizens. It's a concern. It should be a concern for all of us, irrespective of which political party we are, that we have illegals who have come into our country and who have got valid papers, Indian documents, and they've got voting rights in any state. I'm not even saying this guy has it in 24 Parganas. He's living in Morigaon. So that's what I'm trying to. Yeah, complete.
I address this point only. The allegation is that this person is not an Indian. He is living inside the Indian territory. Who has the duty to remove these people? The government. Who is in government? In center, it is BJP from last 2 terms.
Absolutely.
In state, it is BJP. Who has the duty? The ones who have who should be busy in doing operations to secure India are the ones who are busy in ensuring that Congress-led government falls in Maharashtra and in Jharkhand. We have seen all the Maharashtra Shiv Sena MLAs. They were in Assam. They were, and Himanta Biswa Sarma went and visited them. We have seen crores and crores of rupees bills of the hotel stay were paid. We do not have the answer who paid that. But we have seen that Mr. Biswa, Himanta Biswa Sarma was busy in that. Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma was involved in corruption. There's an allegation.
Do you want to turn it into a? Do you want to take it into a different tangent and turn it into a political debate about who was where?
The debate is deviating.
No.
The debate is deviating.
Correct. No. I am noticing that the debate is deviating. My point is, sir, law and order is a state subject also.
Can I speak, Anand?
1 second, sir. I'm coming to you, Rupamji. Border security is under the BSF. The BSF is a police wing. Law and order, but although comes under the center, so as much as the BSF and the borders have to do, the state is law and order is a state subject. Now the point is, if people are staying in any particular state in our country and if there are illegals, then it's the state's responsibility also to ensure that there are no illegals in that state. It has to work in tandem with the center. You may have political differences, and please take political potshots and political. But in this case, we cannot compromise because India cannot afford to have 4 crore illegals on our soil. Especially even out of that, if there are 400 or 40 or 400 or even 4,400 or 40, whatever is the number you want to take. I am just saying they should not be allowed in our country, and especially such lot who are actually getting married into Indian girls and they are radicalizing Indian girls also. And turning them into terrorists and radicals. So we don't need this come at all. That's our unilateral position. That's what it's got to be, irrespective of which political party. There's no time to play politics on this. Tumne kiya nahi, sabko milke karna hai. The Rupam Goswami, now the allegation is it helps the BJP because it works on their counter-polarization network narrative.
It's not like that actually. If you look into it, the concept of Gajia-e-Hind, which has been running in India since very, very long, even before independence, still prevailing. They thought that the whole world should be Islam. It is totally a foolishness thought. So that is still prevailing, and on that ground only the jihadi walk is going on, held by the nearby country Pakistan and ISI, as already some of the speakers said. It's very well said, well described. You know, for that reason, the Assam has been done a long agitation since 1979. And now these effects are coming because, during that time, the then government, different governments, they have given scope to these people. They have not thought very seriously because they only just wanted to help only for the sake of the vote bank. BJP is not thinking on that. BJP is thinking on the national perspective because these things were not happen in one single day. They have been working very since long time, and only just to only for the vote bank reasons, Congress and all the left liberal, they are directly or indirectly helping them. In fact, in this talk, because he has tried to get from the threat of a national perspective to something else is very.
Well, I think we've just lost Rupam Goswami. We'll try and get him back again. It's a poor network, but there is a. Yeah, he's back with us.
Money for them.
Yes.
I'm just clearing these facts. So that is the concept. Now we are unearthing this. When this Modi came only from 2014. From then onwards, it has been working. You all have been watching how these acts have been done against them. But previously, there are instances.
See, I'll tell you, Mr. Goswami, I'll tell you what, you can keep saying what happened before that. I am asking you what's happening now. Look at how deep they have come in. Who are these people? How is Assam, whether Assam has a border with Bangladesh, Bengal has a border with Bangladesh, all the states who have a border with Bangladesh, you have to make sure that there are no illegals who enter into our country. If the border is so porous because it's riverine, then that means we have a problem. How is this person getting a voter ID in our country? How is he operating as an imam there? He's working and he's teaching children. He's so radical. How do we know? What is the guarantee that there aren't other people like this, Mr. Rupam Goswami? This crackdown has to be hard. There is no corners cut here. We cannot, as a country with 4% of the world's landmass and nearly 20% of the world's population, can you afford to have illegals in our country?
That Anand, that's what I am telling you about. The agitation was held in 1979. But then Congress government, they have not given importance to it. Now, that is the outcome, that's the result of this. They have entered long time back, which is very agenda. Now here they have made it to very local peoples.
Sir, Abu Tala, those who have come in the 70s and the 80s, if they wanted to involve in terrorist activities, they would have done it in the last 25-30 years. This Abu Tala is come into Assam now. This activity has begun in 2016, 2017, 2018. He's married a local girl. These are Bangladesh. He is not more than 35 to 40 years old. So clearly he was born after the 70s, 71. My point is he's come from Bangladesh into our country. Those who came in 71 running away, fleeing strife, fleeing persecution is a different story. I am saying what is happening after 2000. I'm not even saying 1990s or 1980s. I'm saying after 2000, how many people have come into our country illegally? Why should they come into our country? Where is there any strife or any fight in Bangladesh? Why should they be allowed after 2000 into our country, and why should they be here with valid papers? They are claiming papers, saying hum 20 saal se rehte, so we deserve to live in India. Why? Can I go and live in America for 20 years and say, no, I deserve to live in America because I've been here for 20 years? I'll still be treated as an illegal and as an alien.
That's why this government, after coming to 2016, we are giving more emphasis on the NRC. But somehow or the other reasons, NRC could not be completed properly. So because we have this doubt that because Assam is a very fertile, around 1 crore people who are Islamic by religion. So they have a very fertile.
Right.
So definitely they will hold, and they moreover most of the people are there illiterate here in Assam. So they have taken the advantage of it, and this work has been going on. And the Honorable Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa, under his leadership, strongly crackdown has been going on, and we will definitely unearth everybody from this place.
Sir, there is no place. With Assam, the responsibility is, sir, that Assam is not a place for any illegal radical terrorists to come and think that they can settle there and then conduct their operations, pan-India operations there. You have to put the fear in such a way that they go back to their holes from where they have emerged out. These pests don't have a place in our country. That's my humble submission. I have to wind up this debate today. We've got to take a very, very short break. I thank all our panelists for joining us this evening. Thank you very much. Before we take a break, a quick reminder, you see the phone numbers flashing at the bottom of your screen. It's our Independence Day special built up, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Tiranga quiz, our Bharat movements over the last 75 years, and of course, all about our tricolor. That's the quiz coming up. As we take a break, here is the first question. Have a look at this and tell me, pick up the phone and tell me, which is this fantastic Tiranga moment in Indian cricket? Which is this fantastic Tiranga moment in Indian cricket? 2017 Champions Trophy, 2018 Asia Cup, 2011 ODI World Cup, or the 2007 T20 World Cup? Which moment is this? Brilliant Tiranga right behind Virat Kohli. Is that Raina Yuvraj Singh? Guess. And behind that, there's a Shanta Kumar and Srishant. So tell me who this is after the break. Stay with us.